Good morning, Illini. Welcome back. I'm your host, Matt Schrock, for Healthy Illini Podcast, as always. And we're in March. Somehow we're already in March. Spring break is next week, and the semester is about half over. It is crazy to think about. But with that, we've had Illinois weather. We're just going to call it Illinois weather is what we've had so far, and that's what we're talking about today. I have some guests today, some return guests, so I want to get a chance to introduce them, and we'll jump into the conversation. I'm joined today by three students that we've had on the program before. Actually, they're veterans, and so we're welcoming them back on this. The first is Malak Doshi. He's a grad student going for a master's in finance, and he was on episode 93, if you want to look back at our archive, episode 93 with finals prep last semester. But Malak, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
And also joined by a veteran from that same episode 93 finals prep, Alex Davini. She's a senior about to finish up her undergrad with community health. Alex, thanks for coming back.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And then our third member is from a different episode, Hayden Fisher. She's an undergrad, a junior, getting her bachelor's in clinical psychology with a minor in public health. And she was on episode 94, 95 last semester, which was finals to festive rest, which was kind of the break time between semesters. Hayden, thanks for joining us again.
Thanks for having me back.
You guys are all fantastic students, people, guests, and I'm really excited to hear what you have to say about this topic today, because you do such a great job of conveying your own personal experiences and your own perspectives and using that to kind of reach the student body at large. But what we're talking about today, well, let's start off with, Illinois winters. They are not fun. I love Illinois scenery. I love the change of the seasons, but unfortunately sometimes we get those changes all in one day. We can hit all four seasons in a matter of 24 hours. But often our winters are they're just random. They're either like really bright and they look sunny, but they're freezing cold, or they're really gray and overcast, but they're not that cold. And everything in between, we have rain, we have snow, we have tornadoes, all these kinds of things. And so January, February can be really tough coming back for the spring semester. You feel that weather just doesn't really make you feel great about going outside. You don't want to go to class. You just want to stay inside, curl up, watch a movie, read a book, whatever. And so it can be really tough. And so then when that break comes, we get those warm days like we did recently. It seems like the campus comes out of hibernation. I have to be real careful when I leave work, because everybody's out walking, everybody's out driving, everybody's out playing, whatever. Because campus just kind of springs to life. And it may be only for a few days, because I think it was last week or the week before we had 70, and then overnight it went to 30. We had that incredible drop. But when it does get nice, there's a lot of things on campus you can do, a lot of things you can be involved in, and ways to enjoy that weather. So let's start there. For the three of you, I just want you to give you your personal perspective on this. What are some of your favorite activities or places to go when you do get that little break in the gray skies and you get the nice weather here in Central Illinois?
I personally really love to just take advantage of the walking on campus. It's such a walkable campus, and when it gets nice out, if there's a little bit of sunshine and it hits above 40, 45 degrees, you bet I'm walking to class and I'm walking to all my activities. It's just a little nice extra way to get a little bit of sunshine, get a little bit of fresh air. If I do ever stop, I like to stop on the psych building patio. There's not really chairs there. There's a few benches. But it's sunny, it's nice, not a lot of people actually stop there. So sitting there and doing work or just enjoying the sunshine is really nice.
Yeah, same with me. Actually, I just went on a walk yesterday, and I got sun on my shoulders, and I was not thinking it was going to happen. But I definitely like walking around. My roommate and I, we like to go walk by the horses, especially when they're out. I think it's kind of cool, and it's never really busy there to kind of just hang out for a little bit and take a break in your walk, then walk back to campus or stop at the Japanese gardens. On the way back, doing a big loop around campus, that's kind of always nice. But I actually think getting the fresh air, even just opening your window and stuff, and then it gets you outside a little bit.
So as Hayden and Alex mentioned, walking is absolutely one of the wonderful things that I'd love to do now with the weather turning. But another thing was that having breakfast, because back then, last 2 months it was so cold. Getting up is a big task. I just love having, going out for breakfast and meeting friends, or just starting my day on a positive note like this. And there's so many places that I've discovered lately which are in near the Lincoln Square Mall. There are very cute cafes out there. And then there are a few of the cafes which are, or bakeries. They're actually open only for 4 to 5 hours a day. That good they are, they don't need to open for the entire day. It's just right beyond, Champaign downtown. Just one of the example is Hopscotch Bakery. So these are the places which I couldn't really go for because they would just shut by 2 p.m. or something, and I'd probably just start my day with all the laziness. So right now, with all the weather coming down, the best thing that I love to do is going for breakfast.
You talked about it, again, three very different perspectives, very different examples. They're all tied together in the idea of being active. But we are a campus where you can find those little cafes. You can find the horses, and the south end of the campus is a little bit more open and green, and then you have the little pockets, the patio you were talking about. Was that something? Is that something that you've been able to continually find new places in your years that you've been here, because you've all been here a time that you may have started and not realized, but you were able to find as you were going? Is that something you've experienced as you're walking around campus?
Oh, for sure. I remember my freshman year, my friends and I would always study at Siebel Center for Design, and so we'd sit out on the back patio, and then when the weather got warm again, second semester, we studied outside on the back patio of UC Evans, even though none of us lived there, and we would go on our little we thought we were rebellious, night walks, and we just found a bunch of places on the engineering quad. We had no business being on the engineering quad because we're not engineers, but it was just so nice, and just continuing to just kind of do those things even now as an upperclassman, just finding these little pockets. I wouldn't say it's easy, but if you just take a minute to just look around, you'll find them for sure.
Yeah, I think going off of that, I definitely think I'm still finding new places, and I've been here for 4 years, but I feel like my personal experience was freshman year was when it was lockdown COVID for me, so I walked around so much. I think that's how we hung out with most people and met people, was by walking around. So I feel kind of looking around on campus, you could just even find random places to meet, not necessarily places where they're set places such as outside a hall or something, but in the middle of between this street and this street there's this green space, let's hang out here, that kind of thing, and make it your own place.
You talked about the pandemic and starting when it was locked down. I remember those times because during some of that time I would run on campus, and it was just weird because there was nobody around, and I didn't have to really worry about cars running on the street or anything like that. But there was an element of getting outside, was during that time especially, was getting outside and doing something different was a huge boost for my mental health. Not being in the same room all the time, the same area all the time, but to be able to get out. I feel like some of that is the same for when the weather changes here in Illinois, that it's a little bit of, I just need some air, I just need to get out, I need to see a different scenery. How does that idea, when it gets warmer, of being outside, how does that impact your mental health, not just your physical health, but in your own experience? How does that affect you directly?
I think more, it just makes you feel more energetic. Although the physical activities were too less when it was colder months, you'd most of the times take the bus, or you'd only plan all indoor events. But now that I'm adding more activities, I'm less tired. My days are more fruitful. I'm more happy because I get to even go out and play in the open, run in the open. It's just not that I need to depend on ARC or CRC, because sometimes and most of the times in the winter months they are all busy. When it's most of the students have the free time almost at the same time, so you can't really make time on those off scheduled hours. So it's just it just gives you a lot of options also. Just run by the park, or it just makes more room for activities to be done.
Yeah, I think for me the huge thing is the fresh air. It just getting outside and getting that fresh air, and also when it is sunny. I mean, it's really overcasted today, but even when there's sun in the morning, when you just get sun right in your eyes, I think it's scientifically proven to wake you up. So I think it just definitely just makes me more energized, and it makes me happy for the summer and just warmer weather, being able to see each other more.
So I don't have to carry a jacket all the time.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, I think my friends and I have a joke. It's we see the sunshine once in the spring, and all of a sudden we don't have depression and things like that. And it's the vitamin D, kind of what Alex was saying, it scientifically does help you and your mood and your serotonin. And I could go into all these things, but there's not enough time. And it just really helps me feel better and more awake, and just I can function again. And there's a world outside of my apartment and the few classrooms that I have to go into throughout the semester.
There's also an element of, in the spring semester, especially when the sun comes, it makes you think, oh, spring's coming. Spring means the end of semester, the summer plans I have, spring break, whatever. So there's that feeling of something is coming. During January, when you have day after day after day. We had I think it was 14 days almost literally that we didn't see sun. And I remember sitting in my office and the sun broke through and I was like, what is that? Like, oh, hey, that's what that is. Because we just get stuck in that days blend into each other because they look the same. And when you're walking to class, when there's no sun, you don't pay attention to things around you. You're just trying to get to class. That's all it is. But when there's that light, when there's that sun, it really gives you that feeling of, it's almost like a feeling of hope, honestly. And I see it in the students whenever you do it as well. So my next question, and this is kind of the really the big one I want to get to, because you've talked a little bit about what you do on campus, and there's lots of things, with the walking, but also we didn't even mention the outdoor basketball, tennis courts. There's all sprinkled all over campus so that you can do that. Things you can do at the Arc and Cersei and all those types of things. But the struggle is for me, and I'm just going to assume it's for you as well, is that when I'm in that middle of the gray Illinois winter and the sun comes through and I still have indoor responsibilities, like you still have classes to go to, you still have homework you have to do, you still need to clean your apartment, or whatever it may be, but it's really hard, especially if you have a class with, like, the worst ones are the classes where you sit and you're looking at the speaker, professor, teacher, whatever, and behind them is windows, and you're trying to focus on what they're talking about, but your eyes just drift up to the window and look outside. So how do you balance wanting to experience that nice weather? Because it could be fleeting. It may only be for a few hours we're going to get the sun. How do you balance wanting to experience that and knowing the benefits of that while also maintaining your responsibilities for what you need to get done?
Matt, it is so hard. I am definitely one of those people where it's like, oh, the sun's out, and so I'm outside. Like, especially, I haven't seen the sun in, like you said, 14 days. It's like, I'm going to go take advantage of that. But I think I'm definitely like an over-preparer, so I'll look at my weather app like a week in advance. And if I see like, oh, Thursday is supposed to be beautiful, but I know I have like a paper due Thursday, I'm going to try to get it done beforehand so that I can go outside and fully like absorb the sunshine and not have to worry about work. And if I do have work on that days, like finding a spot maybe in the shade or inside by a window, so you're still getting some of that sun and that kind of fresh air and new scenery, but you're also able to kind of sit there and like get your work done and not have to like worry about the sun glaring on your screen so you can't see it, kind of a thing.
Yeah, for me, I'm kind of like the opposite. I don't really think I can do homework outside. If I'm outside, I'm fully distracted and like in the moment where I'm at. So for me, I kind of like to figure out if I kind of use it as motivation. So I will do my homework so I can go outside. I'll plan ahead and get that done early, or I'll go sit outside for the time it is sunny, and then I'll be like, you know what, I got to spend all this time relaxing. Now it's my time to grind out the rest of my homework and just get that done.
What I try to do is I try to mix up activities. So one of the things which me and my friends are doing is we're finding new study places to do. So we are not compromising on studies, but we're also exploring outside. So we make it a plan that we are not going to study in Granger or main library. We're going to go outside. We're going to find some or the other place now, or in the day at least. In the evening, we can just go and push the things which require a lot of focus. Besides that, also what has changed now is, like I mentioned before, it's so easy to wake up now because there's light. The window just brings light to you and makes you feel like you want to go. Physically also you feel like you just want to get up. So that lethargy is gone somewhere, and that makes it more easier. Like you can wake up early, start on your work, and then you can make room for activities in the afternoon because it's still so pleasant and breezy.
And I like that you talked about, meeting with friends, because Alex, you said you don't necessarily like to do homework outside, but like you could have a meal outside with friends, grab something from one of the dining halls or from wherever you're getting food and take it to go and run outside and find a place to sit, because that's something that makes a difference. Or I really like when you talked about opening the windows, because that makes a difference. Just having the fresh air come in makes a difference as opposed to you meet it outside. But Alex, I'm put you on the spot. One thing you said when we were in our prep work about how to balance everything and how to maintain your focus when you're feeling those spring break plans or you're feeling like I want to be out in the sun, is you said determine your why. And you didn't really expound upon that, so I'm going to ask you what you meant by that, because I thought it was a great, I have an idea what you meant. I thought it was a great statement, but what do you mean by determine your why? So
for me, this is my last semester here on campus, and I definitely think that kind of led me to feel like, oh, I need to figure out like, why am I here, why am I doing this, and like why do I need to get these things done? And I think a big part of it is I definitely want to stay strong in my grades at the end of my undergrad career, but also on top of that, I feel like there's so much on campus I still need experience, so I kind of think that's almost like motivating in being like, I need to balance this the best I can, so I only have 2 months left on campus, so I'm like trying to do as much as I possibly can, and I think that kind of motivates me to like stay focused on my schoolwork, kind of balance those things out and find how, I guess, like why I'm doing all this.
Yeah, I have a point to add here. So this is a funny thing which keeps happening with me and my friends. I'm graduating in December, but a lot of them are graduating this semester. So for a lot of people, changing the schedule is a really difficult task. It just does not happen with the season so quickly because they've been accustomed doing something for 2-3 months. So I keep doing this thing with all my friends that why wouldn't you come out? It's your last semester. It's just 2 months remaining. Why wouldn't you do that? And I try to pull them out just, by making them feel that it's just 2 months in Champaign. Just come out.
Yes.
So let me ask you, and we're going to kind of close with this a little bit because again you've each shared exactly why the sun is so much nicer and the outdoors is so much nicer, but we do have a huge campus. We have a beautiful campus, so I didn't ask you the preps, so you have to think real quick, but what do you consider the most beautiful spot on campus? And that can be whatever you determine beautiful as. It can be gardens with flower, it can be architecture, it can just be this is one of my favorite spots because this is where I meet people. But I like to get personal perspectives on our campus because I know some of my favorite spots, what I consider the most beautiful, that just walking by it, I'm like, man, I love this campus. And there's moments of that. So I'm going to just kind of put you on the spot for each of you. What do you consider one of the most beautiful spots on campus?
I think as a social sciences major, I really, really like places where I can see people in their element. I'm kind of a people watcher, a little bit of a stalker in that aspect, maybe. But the stereotypical answer is just the quad. Like, I just love walking out there and like everybody's doing their own thing. There's like 4 different dogs, and there's people playing ultimate frisbee and football, and people doing homework and sitting and eating food with their friends, and it's just like this beautiful, like, wow, this is like a community. I feel like we're such a community in that aspect when I don't know any of these people, like, realistically, and I probably never will, but just seeing that and seeing like, whoa, society's like coming together in like this very small way is just like the epitome of beauty for me.
Yeah, for me, I have 2 that come to mind. One is kind of like a fleeting thing. So I really think the Japanese gardens, when like the Japanese blossoms are in bloom, that's not something I consider like, I don't consider the Japanese gardens like the most beautiful all the time. But during that time, I think it's super unique. And like there's only like there for like a week every year, so it's really cool to just kind of go and see the beauty there. And then I don't know why this is so random, but I really like Memorial Stadium, just even like walking past it and like the sun shining on it, and just looking at it from like an outside perspective. I feel like I have so many memories there, and I feel like there's just so many like fun things that are always going on there. So yeah.
So quad definitely gives me a very Central Park vibes because so many activities keep on going. But the place that I really love to go is if it's nearby, it's Crystal Lake Park at Urbana. It's very much reachable by the bus, and if I have someone driving around, then I'd love to go to Ellerton. So those are the places you really get cut off from the entire campus town. There's more of, you're going with friends. It's more intimate, it's more nicer, and the place is like so huge, it just does not end.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on the places outside of campus. Like you said, Allerton and Monticello is fantastic. There's a lot of parks here in Urbana-Champaign that you can go to. Just in the, I live in a small town. I like my drive. It's flat as flat. But I like when the crops are up. I like in the winter when the fields are clean. I like that part too because there's a little bit of a separation. But I love that you all talked about the things that you love impact you, that they are direct to you, that somebody may not say Memorial Stadium, well, great, but you have memory there that makes it. And I'm the same way. Memorial Stadium, on the quad, and when I walk by, I have fleeting memories of different things. Every building on the quad reminds me of something different in a different period of my life, and so I love that they'll personally impact. And that's really what it is about getting outside, is getting out and making those memories and making those connections to the campus, to each other, and just feeling better about yourself. So, again, the time always goes so fast, and you guys do such a good job of conveying who you are. I just really appreciate all your perspectives, and just want to say thank you again for coming on the program. And for each of you, I hope that you have a great week before we hit spring break, have a strong spring break, and finish the semester strong. But Alex, Hayden, Malak, thank you so much for joining me again.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Illinois winters are hard. Illinois winters are random. They are chaotic, and it can take a toll on take a toll on you physically, but also on your mental health. And so when that sun does pop out, I really encourage you to get outside, take a walk, take a run, go for a bike ride, play a game, eat with friends, whatever it may be. But enjoy that break in the weather and that sign that's pointing towards warmer days are coming. But you do need to balance it. So find that balance of work with relaxation. Find that balance of your indoor responsibilities and what you want to do outside. And as was stated today so cleanly, to find your why. Keep your motivation. Make sure you remember what you're doing and why you're doing it, and just enjoy the days as they come. But thank you for joining us today. You're on a personal journey no matter where you are in it. You are important and you matter. Your health and wellness are important and matter, and we're here to keep you well to excel. So go have a great week, Illini. Let us know how you're doing, and we'll catch you next time on Healthy Illini.